In a February 20th earnings call, Bob Bakish, the newly installed CEO of ViacomCBS, tried to assure investors that even if the quarterly earnings were no good, something which would send the share price plummeting, everything was under control. According to Bakish, the Star Trek franchise would now be extended across the house. We have already covered what Bakish told investors and shareholders about the Star Trek series in production, and how he might have not told the full picture, but he didn't stop there. In this video, we will similarly put a critical spotlight on the rest of what he said, namely that 2 more Star Trek series are in development, that a new Star Trek feature film is coming from Paramount, that a series of Picard novels are being rolled out from their publishing division Simon & Schuster, and his announcement that a new streaming service is coming. As the CEO of production company Secret Hideout, Alex Kurtzman has on multiple occasions spoken of the series that are in development, which the entertainment media will treat as an announcement every single time. However, outside of the series we've already covered as being in production, Discovery, Picard, and Lower Decks, not a single other series has actually been given any kind of green light from CBS. Secret Hideout can develop them as much as they want and announce them in the media as often as they want, something they frequently do when they need positive headlines. But until such time that CBS actually gives a green light, nothing of what Secret Hideout develops will enter production and actually happen. Of all the Star Trek pitches that Secret Hideout have in development, none have been languishing in development hell for longer than Section 31, based on Michelle Yeoh's Mira Georgiou character from Star Trek Discovery. It was first announced in January of 2019 on the eve of the release of Discovery's 2nd season. Almost exactly 1 year later, on the eve of the release of Picard, it was announced again. However, this time as entering pre-production, with an eye towards filming in May of 2020, assuming CBS gave the green light. Even if Secret Hideout have both a writer's room and showrunners in place, the series has, as of early March, not been given a green light, so it appears unlikely that production will begin in May. More than that, according to the rumors we've heard, Section 31 has been pushed back indefinitely, so there is a good chance no green light will be given at all. There are other Star Trek series in various stages of development as well. However, the one Bakish referred to, and which may be the next closest to getting to screens, is a Captain Pike series featuring Anson Mount on Discovery's 25% different Enterprise. Unlike the quote-unquote Section 31 series, this one actually came to be due to audience demand, as audiences actually responded to Pike, Number 1, and the crew of this Enterprise. However, not nearly as much work has been done on it as Section 31, and we haven't heard anything to indicate any proverbial Pike series will be ready to leave the development stage and enter production anytime soon. Bakish, as such, is not wrong when he claimed 2 more series were in development to a room full of investors, but that he conveniently didn't say a word about what they were about or when they could be expected to be released might have been a strategic omission. The rumors we are hearing certainly suggests that no green light will be given to any spin-off anytime soon. That has Kurtzman annoyed. Alex Kurtzman has been lobbying for CBS to greenlight at the very least Section 31, but ideally, Section 31 and anything else he throws at them for more than a year now. In that time frame, no green lights have been given, however, for the simple reason that they haven't got the necessary funding. From what we've been told, when Netflix were offered Picard, they pretty much answered, "Nah, we're good." When they were offered Section 31, they were laughed out of the room, as Netflix reportedly were in no hurry to greenlight a spin-off no one asked for from an overpriced series that no one likes. Section 31 was reportedly offered to Amazon, but they wanted to see how Picard would work out for them before committing to anything else. Either way, Section 31 doesn't have the funding to proceed into production, and this is the case with everything else Secret Hideout have developed as well. CBS have rejected everything due to lack of funding, much to Kurtzman's chagrin. Kurtzman's mood did not become any better when CBS canceled Hawaii Five-0, another one of his series. For their part, CBS aren't too pleased with Kurtzman either, as their Star Trek revenue and brand goodwill has shriveled up on his watch. Midnight's Edge has previously reported how CBS effectively fired Kurtzman as Picard showrunner and creative supremo on all things Star Trek, which he reportedly only agreed to in return for another series, namely the Clarice Starling-centric Hannibal Lecter spin-off, which cannot feature Hannibal Lecter. For more information on that, check out the video where we break down the pilot script. However, Kurtzman still has influence over Star Trek by way of his position as CEO of production company Secret Hideout. It is our understanding that CBS wants them gone too, and that ties into Star Trek's fate on the big screen. Without going into detail, Bakish also claimed that Paramount were developing another Star Trek feature film for the big screen. Here, he is referring to the various iterations of Star Trek IV production company Bad Robot have been pitching to the public every now and then for the past 4 years. Paramount's role has actually been blocking each and every one of them. Speaking to Games Radar and Total Film, Simon Pegg explained why. He said, "The fact is, Star Trek movies don't make Marvel money. They make maybe $500 million at the most, and to make one now, on the scale they set themselves, is $200 million. You have to make 3 times that to make a profit." Pegg is only using approximate numbers here, but what he is saying is that the break-even point for these Star Trek movies is about $600 million, and they only gross about $500 million. That leaves a loss of $100 million even in this simplified equation. And Star Trek Beyond, the most expensive of the movies which didn't even clear $350 million worldwide, lost a hell of a lot more than that. This is where one would be interjecting, why do the movies have to cost $200 million? Can't they make them for less? The answer to that is that they could, but not with the same cast. Chris Pine is not backing down from the amount he was initially promised, and while they haven't said so in public, we've heard that neither will anyone else. The catch-22 then is that Bad Robot's investors won't provide the funding necessary to get the cast back, as that would be tantamount to losing $100 million at the box office. But they don't believe in a movie without that cast, even if it is cheaper, so they won't pay for that either. What that means is no Star Trek IV will be coming from Bad Robot anytime soon. Even if they were able to come up with a reboot they could provide part of the funding for, Paramount would not provide the rest or give them the green light. From what we've been told, Sherry Redstone, the ultimate head honcho of ViacomCBS, is intent on salvaging Star Trek. She's allegedly of the opinion that no salvage operation can be done as long as Bad Robot are involved with Trek on film and Secret Hideout with Trek on TV. The two are connected with each other and with the alternate license. The only way to get away from that and revert to the original Trek is by purging Bad Robot and Secret Hideout. And the first step in doing that is refraining from greenlighting anything else not already in production. Then you might wonder, why would ViacomCBS and Bakish try to spin what is both in development and production as good news? The likely answer to that is because this was reported in an earnings call from before the numbers from Sonic the Hedgehog were reported. The numbers that were reported were bad across the board, and the best they could possibly do to salvage the share price and investor confidence going forward was to put as positive a spin on the situation as possible while remaining within the realm of truth. They could have been completely honest and said something like, Star Trek is a hot mess right now, let alone proceeding with the other 2 series that are technically in development. Over at Paramount, there has also technically been a movie in development for the past 4 years, but it won't progress from there until we find a way to get rid of both Bad Robot and Secret Hideout. No idea how long that will take or how much it will cost. That might have been a bit too honest for a company that investors have largely lost faith in already. So instead of divulging information that is strictly need to know only, they tried to mitigate the damage by sticking with a positive spin on technically accurate news. That was in all likelihood deemed the best course of action, because really there was no better news to report. The remerger between CBS and the new Viacom into ViacomCBS was only completed a few months ago. But realigning the business to create value is a process that will take a couple of years. And in that process, things could get worse before they turn around and get better. That's not what investors who are already burned like to hear. In the February earnings call, Bakish also talked up a series of Picard novels to be released by their publishing wing Simon & Schuster. They will probably still come out, but he didn't mention them by a word in an investor meeting on March 4th. There, he instead announced that the publishing wing Simon & Schuster would be sold off in its entirety. While he did not go into further detail, chances are that the publishing arm isn't sufficiently profitable, and selling it off might be the best way it can raise liquidity in the near future. Sherry Redstone's focus is reportedly on increasing earnings, so if it can't do that, it's gone. Speaking of which, there is reportedly something else which also isn't making them any money. In the US, Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Discovery are exclusively found on the CBS streaming service CBS All Access. That evidently was not enough to make it a hit, for in the earnings call, Bakish said that they were making a new ViacomCBS streaming service. At the time, many misreported this as if they were creating yet another streaming service in addition to CBS All Access. However, from what we understand, the intention is to expand the service offering with content from Paramount and rebrand CBS All Access into something else. Details are currently sketchy because they have not been announced or fully decided upon. However, in its current form, CBS All Access is not a hit and represents the legacy of Les Moonves. That alone may be enough reason for Sherry Redstone to rebrand it. We will keep you up to date on this as more information becomes available. Till then, let us know your thoughts on all of this in the comments.